Jeff Kreisler?
I think that I would gay marry Thurgood Marshall on a day of civil rights. He's always been an inspiration in a weird way.
That's great.
I don't know how the sex
That's
would
very
be,
inspiring, and I'm sure the late Justice Marshall would be appalled and disgusted. But right now, Jeff, what did you think of today's celebration?
I was also not surprised. I think Rick brings up a good point that it's not just a numbers game, but it's a numbers game on an issue when they really have nothing to stand on. There's so many other issues that they may be losing the numbers game on. At least you can justify what they're doing, but there's no harm here. They're not really. It's purely a red flag, to rally the base.
Well, speak for yourself. My marriage is hanging by a thread now. This has been a devastating blow to heterosexual tradition.
That's because you're a necklace. What I don't understand is why the bigots aren't happy about this decision, because as we've all discussed in one form or another, when gay people are married, when they have sex, they can't procreate, so gay marriage evenally there'll be less.
Well,
whereas if they mix the mixed marriages, they're all going to look like Prince.
He's right.
I have a theory about that. And
but I do want to say that, let's be honest, this decision, of course, is not going to wipe out bigotry, just like Brown versus Board of Ed didn't wipe it out. So do you think that there are any people on that side who've been holding on because they think it's virtuous, they think Jesus had something to say about gay people, he didn't? Do you think this is going to actually, this ruling will change some hearts and minds?
I think it will take time. I think that in the last 10, 15 years, the rate of change socially has been so rapid that we lose sight if something doesn't happen within a week or a month. But attitudes will change. What the Supreme Court of land has said is that it's wrong. People are going to disagree with it right now, but through the course of generations and dinner conversations and uncles that are jerks, eventually it's going to trickle down to different generations that will not even have this debate.
But we'll always have the creepy older relatives who hang on to the bigotry and frighten the grandkids,
and
right,
they're
Liz?
called Scalia and
Well,
Thomas.
I mean, I think that we won't all.
Okay, it's more fun here in the commercial breaks, trust me. Let's turn to Tuscaloosa, Texas, and the star of the show, State Senator, Democrat. You'll be hearing more from this lady, Wendy Davis. Senator Davis, in a most Capra-esque scene, filibustered for almost 11 hours last night to stop a bill from passing which would have resulted in the closing of almost every abortion clinic in the state. Holy non sequitur, Batman.
Well, she was told to stop talking by men who probably couldn't have physically done what she did, talk for 11 hours without any help, let alone give birth. I mean, it's one of those things, and we were all, comedians been around, like, if men had to carry babies to term, the abortion wouldn't be legal, it would be mandatory.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and locker room schmucks would be arguing over who had the most, too. What did you think of this performance,
well,
Rick?
you compare it to Rand Paul's filibuster, where he got the tap out. He got the tap out.
He did.
Get people's pitch hit for him while he goes to pee, he goes to eat, comes back. That's his. He had a snack. He rested. You know.
This is the real thing.
Mr. Smith goes to Hollywood.
This was the actual version that you don't get your Rand Paul comparison simply because he was there for some of the time. She beats him poker hand, you lose.
And Harry Reid, I know you watch this show. I've been told by people you watch this show. That's how it's done, and that kind of filibustering inspires people. Now, you guys know the official computer records indicated the vote took place on Wednesday, but were then changed to read Tuesday before being changed back to Wednesday, which begs the question, did someone in Texas tamper with official state documents in an attempt to beat the clock?
But like, how crazy is it that like the Republicans literally took us back in time?
Oh, Liz Winstead wins deep cable. Yes.
The bills in black and white.
They're actually taking us backwards for real.
I thought the best thing besides that joke was the fact that this was a classic goose and gander, because the Republicans were done in by filibustering and the surveillance state. And they were caught on this because everyone could see the electronic printouts, Twitter and Facebook, and so they couldn't do the sneaky things. And these were the two big issues lately. They were foisted on their own petard, if that's how you say that phrase.
You can't say petard anymore.
Well, you know what amazes me? You know what amazes me is that we had the White House controlled by the GOP. We had, under George W. Bush, we had the House, the Senate, and the White House controlled by the Republicans for 6 years. They could have defunded Planned Parenthood day one if they wanted to. They didn't. They didn't care about it. They used it to raise funds, but on a national level, they never do. So can we look forward to seeing more of these attacks on a state level? And the real question is, are these guys true believers, or are they just doing it to get votes and raise campaign funds?
Well, but I think the scarier thing about all of this is, yes, it's all going to happen on state levels. It's happened. Literally over 1,000 bills have been proposed on the state level to curb back issues. The other thing is, too, is that what happens is you get your Koch-funded candidates, you get your, Sheldon Adelson-funded candidates, your FreedomWorks-funded candidates, who not only do the bidding of these crazy bills that are unconstitutional and never get passed, these true believers. What they're really there to do is be the pawn to say, we're putting women's rights bills up. how are we going to then curb environmental rules? How are we going to give
Exactly
the banks
right.
off?
Employer rules.
That's exactly right. All of this stuff is a smokescreen because they know that women pay attention. And now women got to pay attention on two fronts. The reproductive rights candidate and then knowing that they're a pawn in this larger game that ruins everybody's lives.
good
Abortion
time.
has been the big issue that prevents us from doing anything else.
Yeah.
And this
Okay,
backwards in time.
I want to move on to something else heroic. From Texas politics to New York, because on the New York City mayoral race, long front runner, Christine Quinn is losing steam to Anthony Weiner. An NBC and New York Wall Street Journal Marist poll released today says Weiner leads City Council President Quinn 25% to 20% among registered Democrats. Again, that's only 45% of the people who can vote. But what do we think brought about this rise for Weiner? Rick Overton, start your puns.
Well, I think he's been very handy with using a lot of Quinn's format. Now she says all kids want to get a tablet. He's going to do all the kids want to get a tablet. And I showed my penis. And you know what? The bike lanes, I was against them. I'm putting it back in. And hey, remember my penis? It's like not proportionate to my little body. And,
You're saying that helps him?
It's
yes.
a Kim Kardashian world.
Yes,
I mean, he's
it
the
is.
Kardashian candidate.
That's an
Notoriety
subliminal.
matters more than substance. I mean, if it was really about substance, someone like Bill de Blasio would be leading the debate. But no one knows what his junk
Randy
looks like.
Credico, baby.
Look, I am with Randy Credico.
Randy.
Tell me, please.
Credico.
He's been on this show.
I know, and I love Randy, and I think that Randy should be in every debate, and he should be on the ballot because
agree. Yeah.
Randy Credico is talking about poverty. He's talking about, stop and frisk. He is talking about, how to live in New York, where real New Yorkers live, living wage. I love Randy. So
Okay, we got it.
Except, of course, he's a millionaire, like Bloomberg.
Yes,
Right.
Randy
Well,
Credico,
there's that.
No, but I think Anthony Weiner is. I don't know what. I think that just shows you how weak this mayoral slate is.
Well, I'll tell you, though, he was a very fiery, charismatic member of Congress. He wasn't popular with his fellow congressmen, but he was popular with people who watch MSNBC, and that's a lot of New Yorkers.
He had a Grayson-esque tinge to him, Alan Grayson.
Indeed.
But that wasn't what running a city is about.
Okay, well, don't go away. We'll be